Emmanuel Macron has been torn apart and accused of doing the European Union's dirty job by forcing Brussels' policy on the French, with one leading Frexit campaigner warning the country could leave the bloc as soon as next year. Brexit, which saw the UK finally complete its full departure from the EU on December 31, has seen campaigners from several other countries, predominantly France and Italy, ramp up their own pressure on Brussels. The EU had been locked in an 11-month transition period with the EU last year but has now freed itself from the bloc's rules around the customs union and single market. Boris Johnson has basked in the glory of Brexit, boasting how the UK has now taken back control and continues to insist the nation will quickly flourish with its newfound powers outside of the EU, but pressure is now starting to ramp up on Mr. Macron amid campaigners' calls for the country to hold its own referendum on membership with the EU. The French president is a vocal supporter of the EU, and with the departure from frontline politics of German Chancellor Angela Merkel this year, will be seen as a leading figurehead for the bloc. However, ahead of the presidential elections in May 2022, Mr. Macron's popularity appears to be sliding at a crucial time. A poll carried out by the Odoxa Institute, conducted online from February 3 to 4 and quizzing 1,005 French adults, showed 81% of people believe Mr. Macron's center-right government does not know where it is going in terms of COVID planning. Charles-Henri Gallois, president of the Generation Frexit political campaign group, has launched a scathing attack against Mr. Macron and what he claims are EU policies that have been forced onto the French people. He told Express.co.uk, Macron has never been very popular. He does the EU's dirty job. I mean that there was no enthusiasm for him. He has always been elected by default. Well, as the previous ones before him, he does the EU policy. This is not the policy that French people want. They are aware that whether they vote left or wrong, they have the same policy. The good answer is to understand that it comes from the EU and it will be the same if we stay inside. Mr. Gallois continued, the COVID crisis has really shown that we need our sovereignty back. EU policies are a disaster for France.